I hope you will be a gentleman. This is the first time. Please, New Orleans. 1917. 12-year-old Waleed, who grew up in a brothel, watches her mother Hetty give birth. After the girl goes downstairs, confidently maneuvering among the brothel customers, she informs the girls here and they're entertaining their men that a boy has been born. However, we see their complete indifference. And only a remark that she should be quieter and not distract the girls from their work. One day Valid wakes up to a crying baby. She takes the baby in her arms and goes to find her mother, who meanwhile is asleep next to a client who has paid all night. Hetty and wake up, they tiptoe out into the hallway. The irritated mother scolds Waleed for waking her up. The girl notices her mother's beautiful earrings and asks if she will give them to her when she grows up. Hetty tells her that Waleed is crazy and is not going to give her earrings made of real emeralds. Running down the corridor, the girl responds to Madame Livingston's call. The elderly mistress of this brothel. Waleed obediently hands her cane to the old lady, pours absinthe and sits down next to her, giving her a massage. A little later, a young man, local photographer Belak, appears on the doorstep and asks for Madame Livingston, mistaking him first for a trafficker, and then because of the client the mistress does not trust him. However, when she sees his willingness to pay, she agrees and offers to take Hetty, who will fulfill any requests he makes. Maybe he owns voodoo? He's got bottles and everything. While the squirrel is getting ready to take the picture, the man with whom Hetty has spent the night comes down to the yard. He accuses her of stealing the emerald earrings, and after a scuffle between them, he laughingly remembers that he gave them to her himself the day before. After a while, Belloc comes home to present a picture of Hetty as a gift. While the girls perch on his attention, a curious Vela snatches the picture out of Belac's hands, and the girls immediately surround her and admire the work. They say that Hetty looks like an angel and that they too would like such pictures. On another night at the brothel, one of the customers causes a scandal while claiming that he was cheated at cards. One of the girls decides to calm the noisy guest down and hits him on the head with a hammer. Recognizing him as a regular customer, Hetty asks her to keep him away. However, the landlady declares that Hetty may pack her things and follow him out. A resentful Hetty grabs her suitcases and tells the other girls that she dreams of becoming a respectable woman. In addition, by staying here, she is afraid of contracting the clap. She rolls away, refusing to leave with her mother, for which she gets a slap on the wrist and an accusation of selfishness. And you're afraid? Tripaka. Quite innocent but seasoned for her age, Valet strolls among the visitors and catches the attention of a pilot. Entertaining himself on the couch with Hetty. Madame Livingston, noticing the man's interest. She approaches and whispers something in his ear. The pilot changes his face. He stands up and refuses the offer. Later, from the words of Hetty, it becomes clear that Valiant will be offered only to friends for the time being because she is still an innocent. A few days later, Bullock takes a picture together of Hetty and Valiant, after which he asks the girl to leave the frame. Not knowing what to do with herself, Valiant digs into the photographer's technique and, after receiving a tearful slap for it, runs away. Squirrel eats comfort to the girl, but Valiant continues to cry with the words "You love her." And after some time, the girl, despite the fact that she is 12 years old, is prepared for her first night. A dress is sewn for her, and girls one by one give advice on how to behave properly with a man. But Valet herself says that she is an adult and knows everything herself, hinting to everyone that she does not need any advice. At a celebratory dinner with Bengal lights, she is carried out wrapped in a veil, and Madame Livingston presents Valet as the best delicacy in New Orleans. The auction begins and the men bid vyingly. In the end it goes to one rich man for $400. Eager to impress, Valet drinks a glass of whiskey and says she is happy with her buyer because he is handsome and she is ready for anything with him. Left alone with the man, Valet asks him to be a gentleman, as this is her first time. However, the man looms over her with a predatory stare. There is an atmosphere of tense anticipation on the first floor. Finally, the man who paid for Valet runs out of the house. All the women hastily go upstairs and find the girl lying on the bed with her eyes closed. After her mother arrives, Valet begins to shout at her, accusing her of lying there forever and not caring about her. And then, to the general encouragement of the girls, she laughs through her tears. One rainy summer day after dinner, Hetty, accompanied by one of her customers, announces to everyone that she has been proposed to. Hetty explains herself to her daughter, making the excuse that she has to do it. She lies to her husband-to-be, informing him that Waleed is her sister. Fortunately, he is okay with her young son. The mother promises to tell her husband everything in time and one day return for baby Valit. After which she leaves the house of pleasure. The house is off and the men are playing poker, and the girls suggest that Belka play hide and seek with them. Outsmarting everyone, Valat first finds Squirrel and kisses him. After which she asks if he likes it or not. Then she says an interesting phrase to the photographer: "I love you more than beans and celery." Despite everything that has happened to Valid, we realize that she is just a child. Going down to the landlady, Belak asks about the fate of the young girl who is all alone. Madame Livingston is not at all worried about her fate. The girl is very pretty and earns more money than all the women put together. And she sees a crush in his behavior, which she tells Bilek directly. Once again angry at the lack of attention from Bilek, Valet runs into the backyard and starts chasing the chickens. Seeing the local boys, she starts pestering them with questions: have they tried it yet? Implying physical intimacy. On Valid's statement that she will make a dark-skinned boy her lover, she receives punishment in the form of a flogging. After a while, the girl collects her belongings and comes to Belek's house. It turns out that she has followed him often. From there she knows his address. Lying on his bed, she asks if she can stay, and then suggests that Bilek beat her lover. Waleed even agrees not to charge him any money. It is enough that he will buy her clothes and stockings. Belek gets angry when the girl turns on seduction mode and speaks to him in patterns of phrases she has absorbed, constantly, by watching girls in the brothel. Eventually Belek confesses that he is in love with her, and they begin kissing. The everyday life of Belek and Valet together passes like a powder keg. The girl is unhappy that he gives her a doll, constantly claiming that she is not a little girl anymore. She is bored and constantly distracted by posing for him while he tries to take pictures. On one such day, an argument arises between them with shouting, after which Belek declares that he's sick of messing around with the baby and chases the girl away. Waleed wanders around town and stops outside the brothel she grew up in. People with placards, led by a priest, are crowded at the entrance. A red-headed boy, recognizing Valid, takes her away, informing her that all brothels will soon be shut down. There is a commotion in the house. Everyone disperses, whoever is packing their furniture and suitcases. Valit puts on her hat and goes outside with one suitcase. There she meets Belle, who tells her that he wants to marry her. After the marriage ceremony, loaded into the car with the crowd to the newlyweds, the girls, with whom Valit grew up side by side, sing and have fun. On the way the cars get stuck in the mud, the girls get naked and decide to have a wedding picnic right on the lake shore. At breakfast, Waleed informs them that she is sad and impatiently demands they bring hot chocolate and brandy. A woman hesitantly walks down the path toward them, in whom Waleed recognizes her mother. They embrace, and Hetty reports that after her confession her husband insisted on taking the girl to his place. Squirrel is outraged, and they can't just take Valid away, since she is now his wife. The mother is clearly not happy to hear this and wants nothing to do with Belek, stating at the same time that their marriage is invalid because it was concluded without her consent. The photographer tells her that he loves Valid and cannot live without her. However, wishing Valid a better life, he turns her around and then lets her go. That will be all, gentlemen. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment and like it. See you soon.